How did the coronavirus start? How do I make sure I don't spread the virus to somebody else?
Is it safe to send milk to my grandparents during the coronavirus?
How many cases of the coronavirus are in Africa?
Hi, my name is Meredith Kozolczyk, and I'm a nurse practitioner, which means that I'm a nurse with some special education that can see patients sort of like a doctor sees patients. Doctors and nurses are using what's called personal protective equipment, or PPE, to keep themselves safe during this outbreak. A gown to cover my clothes so that nobody can cough on me and leave virus on my clothes. Gloves for my hands so that if I touch people, I can throw the gloves away and wash my hands, and then I won't have virus on my hands. And things like masks like this that go over like that to keep me from breathing in droplets that people have maybe coughed on me. You don't need to wear this kind of equipment because hopefully you're staying home and safe and away from groups of people who could be sick.
Why does it keep spreading?
SARS-CoV-2 spreads by droplets between people who come into contact with one another. Droplets can stay in the air for a little while, and then if we breathe them in or we touch somebody with the virus and then touch our face or mouth, then the virus gets inside our body. So for example, I have some craft paint here, and if I put a little bit of craft paint on my hands, and let's say that's virus, maybe I got that from touching a door handle or something, and then while I was talking to you I scratched my face and maybe I picked my nose or I got some in my mouth, and then it's everywhere and it's going to get inside my body. That's how the virus spreads.
Why do we have to stay home?
We have to stay home because if everyone gets sick at once, too many people will be very, very sick and the hospitals won't have enough room for everyone. We need to spread out how often people are getting sick, and so that way we don't overwhelm the system. For example, McDonald's says that they sell like 2 billion hamburgers a year. 2 billion, it's so many. But they don't do that all at once. They sell a lot in one restaurant in one day. But if somebody comes up to the restaurant and says, I want 5 million hamburgers right now, that's all the restaurant can work on for the rest of the day. They're not going to be able to do enough, and other people who need to come get food aren't going to get any food either, and they're not going to make any French fries because they got to make all the hamburgers. It's the same kind of thing with hospital resources. If everybody gets really sick all at once, there's not going to be enough room for them in the hospitals, and there's not going to be enough doctors to take care of them. So we got to spread it out how long it takes everybody to get sick so that all of our health systems don't get overwhelmed.
Even though God loves us, why did He make us why did He bring down the coronavirus on Earth so we can die?
Why did God allow the coronavirus? Girl, grown-ups go to school for a really long time and write big fat books about questions like this. All I know is that God loves us very much, and sometimes we don't understand why things happen like they do. In John 9, there's a story about a man who's blind, and the disciples asked Jesus, why is he blind? Did he sin? Was it something he did? Maybe his parents sinned. Maybe that's why he was blind. But Jesus said it wasn't either of those things. It was nothing the man did himself, and it was nothing his parents did that caused him to be blind. But instead, Jesus said that it was because this way the work of God might be displayed in his life. He didn't really give us a reason, but he said God would be glorified. The other thing I know is that in Romans 8:38 and 39, it says that nothing can separate us from the love of God. Not life, not anything in creation, not sickness, nothing can separate us from the love of God. And so that's what we need to trust in, is how much God loves us.
Why did they call it the coronavirus? It sounds really weird. Why do you call it COVID-19?
Good question.
Why does this virus have so many different names? So coronaviruses get their name from the fact that under a really powerful microscope, each little bit of virus or virion is surrounded by a corona. Another word for a corona is kind of like a halo.
How long until I can see my grandparents?
We don't really know how long we're going to have to stay home. We think that it's hopefully just going to be until the end of April, but we don't really know for sure.
Why don't kids get very sick?
We don't know why kids don't get very sick from this coronavirus. In many coronaviruses, the people who are most at risk are very, very small babies and very old people.
Why is the coronavirus such a big deal?
The coronavirus is a big deal because of how fast it can spread between people if we don't stay home. And not very many, but enough get really, really sick. They can also die from it. So that's why it's such a big deal.
Other than our backyards, what can you do outside of our house?
You can go anywhere outside your house that doesn't have groups of people. So you can go for a walk or go hiking, go to the mountains or go to the beach.
If I got the coronavirus, will I ever get it again?
Maybe. We don't know if you get coronavirus, if you'll ever get it again.
Hello, can the coronavirus walk? I don't know. Nobody knows.
No, the virus can't walk.
How did the coronavirus start?
Coronaviruses are a large family of viruses that are common in people and in many different species of animals, including camels, cattle, cats, and bats. Rarely, animal coronaviruses can infect people and then they spread between people. Scientists think that this particular COVID-19 virus started in bats.
Is it safe to send mail to my grandparents during the coronavirus?
Yes, it is safe to send mail to other people.
How many cases of the coronavirus are in Africa?
There's about 1,000 cases of coronavirus on the continent of Africa right now. If you have your parents' permission, you can go online to Johns Hopkins coronavirus page. They have a map that shows where all of the current infections are, and it shows how many are currently in Africa.
How do I make sure I don't spread the virus to somebody else?
So then how do we keep it from spreading? We got to stay home. We got to stay away from big groups of people. Wash your hands frequently. Clean the door handles and the sinks in your bathrooms every day. And tell your parents to clean off their phones.